Date today.
Protests continue in Missouri following the death of a teenager. What actions police are now taking to control the crowds, and why the World Travel Agency is not restricting travel to Africa as the Ebola virus continues to spread. Good morning. I'm Porcha Johnson. Those stories are coming up, but first, here's Matt Moore with a look at our forecast. A gloomy start.
Yeah, pretty gloomy start, that's for sure. A little rainy, too. Yeah, we do have some of those showers working their way through the Susquehanna Valley. Current temperatures are in the 60s and 70s, so definitely a milder start than just where we were 24 hours ago. But yes, a little bit on the rainy side of things. We have a cold front moving in from the north, and that is helping to develop some of those showers. They're quickly moving to the southeast, so I'm not expecting these to be hanging around all day. In fact, you see that clearing in the northern part of the state. We'll get that too as we go into this afternoon. So overall, not too bad of an afternoon, but at 1 o'clock where the Lancaster Barnstormers are at home, that's the first pitch time. And, you know, we might have a shower or storm still lingering with temps into the upper 70s. But for the York Revolution game a little bit later, first pitch at 5 o'clock, it should be clearing out for us. Partly sunny, maybe a little on the breezy side, but staying rather comfortable. And looking at the next 3 days, and again, we'll have the showers this morning, a little bit more sunshine later today. A late shower or storm is possible into tomorrow. And we continue to see the chance for showers even as we go into Tuesday with highs near 80 degrees. But we could see more substantial rainfall as we go into the middle of the week. I'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit. Portia.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt. The first night of the state-imposed curfew ended with tear gas and arrest of some protesters in Ferguson, Missouri. That's where 18-year-old Michael Brown was shot and killed by a police officer. One person was shot and critically wounded as a defiant protesters rallied this morning. 7 arrests were also made. Brown's family has spoken out against the violence.
Cousin, don't put his name with this, because this is not for him. This is not for us. We didn't ask for this. We didn't want this.
Now, police say the priority is to maintain the safety of officers and the public. Now to the crisis in Iraq, where the U.S. military carried out 9 airstrikes against ISIS militants Saturday. The strikes were meant to aid Kurdish and Iraqi forces retake the Mosul Dam from ISIS fighters. Officials say 80 men were shot during the attack by ISIS militants during the fight. In Afghanistan, officials say a truck crash killed 32 people. It happened in the Karmi district on Saturday. The truck was carrying people and animals through a rural area at the time. An update to U.S. Army Sergeant Bo Bardell, a general looking into the disappearance of Bergdahl, is getting more time to finish his report. An Army spokesman said that the final draft of the report will take another 3 weeks to complete. The deadline was Friday. Bergdahl was a prisoner of war in Afghanistan for 5 years. His exchange for 5 Taliban leaders was criticized because of allegations that he was a deserter. Now to international news. Pope Francis made an anti-abortion statement during his trip to South Korea. The Pope said the church's doctrine on the sanctity of life is well known and wants to emphasize other aspects of church teaching. The Pope usually avoids issues such as abortion. Francis is currently on a 5-day visit of South Korea. Now to the latest on the Ebola outbreak. The Chinese president met with the UN Secretary General yesterday to discuss the deadly Ebola epidemic in West Africa. The Chinese president promised his country will support the international efforts to contain the virus from spreading in Africa. Beijing has already sent medical teams to the region and 2 batches of emergency and medical supplies. Back to the Susquehanna Valley. Lessons from a trip to Africa were brought back to a Harrisburg church yesterday. Philip Deng came to America from Sudan in 2001. He created Friendship Outreach International after a recent trip to Africa. The goal of his new group is to help refugees from South Sudan, including his own family members who are among those struck in refugee camps. Deng spoke at Tree of Life Lutheran Church along with South Sudan embassy officials.
We are going to provide, the basic human necessities as well as the sanitation items such as, the soup and so that people could use those stuff to prevent the illnesses that can be easily prevented.
This was the first public speaking event since starting his new organization. Happening today in Dauphin County, the Tall Cedars 26th Annual MDA Car Show. You're invited to enjoy your favorite vehicles at the AACA Museum this afternoon while supporting the fight against muscular dystrophy. The event is from noon to 4 at the museum grounds in Hershey. A Lebanon County tradition is in full swing. The Mount Gretna Art Show going strong for more than 40 years. More than 20,000 visitors are expected to visit Gretna this weekend.
To have weather like this for the 40th year and this turnout and having all the kids enjoying what's going on for them, it's just unbelievable.
The art show runs today from 9 this morning to 5 p.m. The passing of Robin Williams shines a new light on the struggles with people with the depression face, has many of us wondering how to spot the signs of depression or thoughts of suicide in loved ones. NBC's Renee Tessman spoke with the experts.
Hello, Crisis Connection. The Crisis Connection hotline helps people with depression and suicidal thoughts 24/7. With news of Robin Williams' death Monday,
yes, there was an increase in calls.
Manager Laura Weber encourages those struggling to call.
This is an illness that we can save lives if they reach out and get help.
So how do you know if a loved one is depressed?
Loss of interest in day-to-day activities, loss of enjoyment in life, difficulty sleeping.
Psychologist Daniel Kessler says other signs include difficulty eating, a sense of hopelessness, loss of concentration, and sometimes thoughts of harming oneself. He says the best way to find out if someone is thinking about suicide is to ask them as directly as possible.
If you say, are you thinking about hurting yourself or killing yourself, it gives that person an opportunity to say yes, and then gives you an opportunity to help.
And if they say yes, then you need to stay with that person. You need to contact your local crisis services and get them help.
Weber says those with thoughts of suicide are actually often ambivalent about living or dying and not suicidal most of the time.
There's just a small portion of the time where they're actually at risk, and we need to help get them through that portion of time. That's what'll save their life.
Well, here's the phone number for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's 1-800-273-8255. We also have a link at WGAL.com. We'll be right back. Baseball card collecting can be a lot like playing the lottery. And in this case of a Lancaster man, you can say he hit the jackpot. News 8's Justin Betty explains.
All the cards.
Now, here's a preview of what's ahead this week of the world of business. And CNBC's Sue Herrera reports.
It's August vacation time for many of us, and even though things should be quiet on Wall Street this week, investors will keep a close eye on some fresh housing data and on the volatility in Ukraine for any impact on the global economy. Also garnering traders' attention, the Federal Reserve's annual symposium in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, the first one since Janet Yellen took over as the chair. Interest rates and monetary policy high on the agenda. Second quarter earnings season has been a mixed bag so far for some big retailers this week. We'll hear more from big chains like Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, Dick's Sporting Goods, Staples, Dollar Tree, and The Gap. Some big tech names are also reporting their latest results, including Hewlett-Packard, Intuit, Salesforce.com, and medical equipment giant Medtronic. One-time Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer paid $2 billion for the NBA's Los Angeles Clippers. This week he gets to meet his players and fans at the team's Fan Appreciation Day. And just as millions of students begin heading off to college, Forbes magazine is out with its annual list of the best and most affordable colleges. I'm Sue Herrera. Get all your business news on CNBC.
Commitment 2014 coverage of the race for governor. Democrat Tom Wolf is going after Tom Corbett's recent attacks. In a new ad, Wolf makes big claims about his opponent's record. 8 on your side, a government reporter, Pete Montine, checked the facts in a new ad watch. If you happen to notice a big gray paper nest in a tree, there's a good chance that it's home to a colony of bald-faced hornets. The colonies can contain as many as 10,000 hornets and are dangerous if you disturb them. News 8's naturalist Jack Hupley gives us a closer look in this morning's Wild Moment.
Valley right now, nothing really all that heavy, and I wouldn't say a washout, but certainly seeing the broken line of showers now. But don't look to the north, or do look to the north, or whatever you want to see in terms of the sunshine. Yeah, we are going to start to see that drier air working its way in as we go throughout the rest of today into the afternoon. Expect to see more sunshine, but the 7-day forecast does stay pretty rainy. Portia.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt. Thanks for joining us.